Hi, y'all. Welcome to my Lit Lounge where I interview the authors who have wrecked my TBR, held my emotions hostage, and made me fall head over heels. Today, we have a true powerhouse in the building. Not only is she a phenomenal author, serving us love, laughter, and heart on the page, but she's also a literary agent repping some of the premier Black romance authors in the game. And let's be real, they're all winning under her. With an eye for detail, she'll encourage you to keep it real and push every story to its fullest potential. But it doesn't stop there because if you ever had the chance to hang with her in person, then you already know she's a sweetheart, a hype woman, and an absolute time to be had. A champion for authentic voices, Black love, Black joy, she embodies community celebration and everything we love about this space. Please help me welcome the brilliant, the radiant, the one and only Taj McCoy.
Hello, friend. How are you?
I'm so excited to have you here.
I'm excited to be here. I apologize in advance. I'm in the middle of packing, and so my wonderful background is bare, basically, but we have just a few up there.
It's okay.
Eventually, it'll be back again.
We've seen the shelves in all their glory in some of your wonderful videos.
Yeah.
When you occasionally decide to drop a video.
I know. I really need to do better. Natasha, Janelle, Morgan, they're all on my neck constantly. We need you to be consistent. And I'm like, you guys, you're asking a lot.
They are very consistent too.
They are. All of them. Like I can't keep up with that. There's just no way.
And Janelle's graphics are like, man,
Bananas.
yeah. Every time she drops something, I'm like, man, I can't wait for the PR rollout.
Like I'm always in awe of all of them. I have quite a few hybrid authors on my list. And so for me, like I learn from them a lot of the time when it comes to that stuff for my indie side. I definitely consulted them before I released my novella just because I was like, this is new. I'm just a girl. So it's, in what ways, what can you teach me, please? I will take it. I will digest it,
You
internalize.
may be quieter on social media, but you be outside.
Always, always. We outside, but only to a point. And then the social battery runs out, and then we're back in the cave, and it's like we were never outside.
It does happen in spurts, but
Yeah.
you've been, I don't know, you've been out and about lately.
Tour has been a lot. I will say, my very first tour when we did for Savvy,
Mhm.
that one had a lot of stops, and this one is the one time where I've had more than that. And so it was unexpected that so many bookstores were going to be like, "Hey, can Taj come?" And there were some locations that I reached out to because I wanted to add some spots like Charlotte, like Atlanta. And of course, I had to hit one of the Steamy Lit stores. And so, I took it upon myself to add those ones. But I think there's been six events in the DMV alone. And so it's been nonstop, which has been wonderful. The people who've shown up have been amazing, but also I'm in the middle of trying to move. And so the girl
Yeah.
is tired,
You
but
are, I mean, that's not to say that I haven't talked to people who are busy, but you are a incredibly busy human being.
I try to stop and slow down sometimes, and somehow I just accidentally pick up yet another thing that I need to do. And I don't know, it's a sickness, really, is what it is. It's a Capricorn sickness, is what it is.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Like my dad is a Capricorn, and for a retired person, he should be going to work a lot.
Like it's like we can't help ourselves but to add something to our plate and then complain that we're busy. It just,
But I also wonder, right? Because
yeah,
y'all are big brain thinkers. And I just feel like if y'all were left idle for too long,
we lose our minds.
there'd be plans for like world domination and other things in the work.
It would be like, what is it, Ren and Stimpy, when he's like trying to take over the world. It would truly, because we're always planning something. And so like, if we're left to our own devices, it's going to be dangerous for sure.
So in the wonderful world of Taj,
Mm,
not only are you creating stories, right, but you're championing the stories of others.
yeah.
How do you, and we talked about this before, but how do you balance like nurturing your creativity while also pouring into others? Because
Mm.
you are quite positively one of the most encouraging people I have ever met. It's
Thank
like
you so much.
you can't help yourself. You're like, you're just like, now the truth is there. She's not just gonna blow smoke at you.
That's
Um,
true.
but absolutely just like,
Yeah. I mean, I tell people all the time, if I'm complimenting you, I will not just randomly say some stuff that I do not mean. But I think I'm just kind of a nurturer by nature. When it comes to, the balance, and we definitely talked about this before, I'm not great at the balance. I always put my clients first. And as I'm a literary agent. I also do some higher ed consulting. So I work with some students who are looking to apply to law school. And so whether it's them or my literary clients always come first. And so I do need to get better at prioritizing self, and my writing is my self-care. And I am not very proud to say that it's been at least a week since I've touched my proposal that I'm supposed to be turning into my agent. But it's honestly the truth. When it comes to if I have something that is time sensitive for one of my clients, but I also have something that's time sensitive for myself, I'm going to ask for an extension for me so that I can take care of my client first, for sure.
Man, I just, in all the conversations that we've had about like balancing in mental health, I always think like pouring into yourself is going to be important, not only because like as a creative,
Yeah.
it's like literally just a part of your being, right? So you kind of have to feed it and keep it alive. It's a muscle
100%.
that you used.
Yeah.
But also, I would imagine that being able to recognize the creative in other people, you would still have to be feeding yourself too. So have you ever
Yeah.
had moments where like, I don't know, maybe the world seems just like a little more dull because you're tired? Like it's hard to see the creative and the inspiration around you because there's like 1,001 things happening.
100%. And it's one of those things where, I mean, I'm an anxiety, depression, ADHD girly. And so there are times when just overwhelm happens. Maybe the world feels heavy that day. Maybe my to-do list is just too much. And so there are times when I could make time and sit down and be creative. And instead, I just have to sit there and rest and recharge. And sometimes I end up feeling guilty for that. But then I have to remind myself that rest is not something that you should have to earn. It is something that you need, and you need to give it to yourself if you're going to be your best self.
I know that like for me, when I'm overwhelmed or
Mhm.
overstimulated,
Yeah,
and sometimes they both happen at the same time.
sure do.
It's kind of hard to see the big picture. It's kind of like I have to like triage and take care of the immediacy things like right now. But like you said, there are times when I do feel guilty
Yeah,
about it, and I have to remind myself that self-preservation is not selfish.
that's right.
And to
That's
continue to enjoy the things that I love, I have to make sure that I'm in a space where I can do that.
Yeah. I mean, we have to remember that rest and pouring into self allow us to be here so that we can do those things that we're trying to prioritize. We can't be there for the clients, for the readers, for everyone, for the family, if we're not taking care of ourselves. Ultimately, everyone suffers if we don't take care of ourselves. And so we need to make sure that we make that a priority. We have one life. Last thing that we want to do is make it shorter because we were ignoring the one thing that's right in front of us always.
And stress will definitely do that to you. It doesn't just cause
Mhm.
gray hair and wrinkles, y'all. It'll affect your heart real quick.
Quickly, yeah. I mean, I dealt with blood pressure issues for a while, and it's a scary thing to my like Apple Watch used to be like, "Girl, sit down somewhere." And I was like, "Really? Even my technology is letting me know I need to chill out because I wasn't recognizing it myself." And so like I think not only is it important for us to pour into self, but there's so many, especially within our own community, that are afraid to go to the doctor and afraid to consultation when we know something's wrong and won't go. And there's so many of us that do that, myself included. My parents did it and I learned it from them. And so it's one of those things, we have to take care of ourselves. And whether that is in relocating because where we are is stressful, whether that is, changing, our work path, I've done all of those things, and I'm the better for it because, and I know it because as I make changes, I sleep better at night. There's physical manifestations
Just
after I make those changes.
just talking to one of my friends about that. We were
Yeah,
talking. So recently I became a librarian, which is like
yeah,
long term, right? Both of my public health sphere and book loving sphere will collide because that's where the big vision goes. But it is quite the pivot from what I've been doing. And I was like, I just feel so much relief.
yes.
Even though like not everything has fallen into place seamlessly, there's just so much like
Yes, yes. I mean, literally, I wear a lot of hats. I have a lot of different jobs that I do. I have a lot of different things I'm trying to keep in the air all at once. But the fact that I am my own boss and I set my own hours, yes, I work every single day for at least a part of the day, not all day, but every day. But I'm happier. I sleep better. I am calmer. I'm less stressed. My blood pressure is better. Like there's all of those things that show you that you made the right choice. And so you got to listen to that. A lot of times our bodies are telling us we need to change, and we have to listen.
so one thing you do that is it's kind of hard to like describe, but like your ability to spot greatness. Because like as
Mm,
a reader, you'll
yeah,
never be able to convince me that my favorite authors aren't fantastic authors.
yeah,
But I also like I'm not signing them, you know. I mean, I'm spending my money.
right.
And I'm gonna spend my money, if a
Yes.
new edition comes out, I'm buying it. If a special edition comes out, I'm buying it. It could be an
Period.
ebook, audiobook, whatever, like here, take the card, swipe it.
Hmm.
But your ability to be like, I read that and that's gonna go somewhere. What is that? Is there like a feeling that happens? Does it make your like fingers tingle, spidey senses? How do you know when something is like? Ooh, that's it right there.
And I know you're referencing Natasha, Janelle, like Asia, like Carmen. Like honestly, most of the time, like while I already know their talent in terms of their writing, it's the people. Like I think that, and I talked about querying trenches quite a bit the last few weeks
Hmm.
online, and the honest truth is, it's as much about the query and the work as it is the person. Figuring out who is going to be the right partner, who has the work product that you feel passionately about and really could champion, who is, has a similar communication style. How are you able to like riff off of each other? And does it feel like it's something where communication is comfortable, natural? When there are, and as an author, I've gone through the querying trenches myself, but I've also seen friends um, have agent relationships where they're afraid to ask questions, or they, like are always feeling like they're a bother, or where they feel like they're not a priority and they're being ignored because they never hear back. Like I just really endeavor as an agent to have all of my clients feel like they have access to me, like I'm going to be responsive. I'm doing my damnedest to get everything out as quickly and efficiently as I can, recognizing that I'm still human and appreciating that they give me grace when things are going on. My mom had cancer last year. We've been going through some true life situations, and to have, these are business partners. So to have folks that, you're in business with, who understand, who give you grace when you need it, who are receptive to feedback, who have made it their business to learn about and understand this industry, and also just continue to build their craft. I find it very difficult to work with people who aren't looking to grow, and who aren't open to learning something. And so, like I think it's about finding that nexus of all of those great qualities that I really gravitate toward. Like when Natasha and I met at a book event that we were both signing at, a panel in Annapolis, I believe. And, like we ended up having some conversations after that. And it was like one thing just led to another. It was natural. Similarly, Morgan Elizabeth, we met at the first Steamy, and we had a call about pubbing on the indie side because I was trying to figure out how to do my novella. And then all of a sudden it turned into something else. And I was like, wait, so who is handling some of these things for you? You need somebody. Do you want me to refer you to somebody? And she was like, do you want to? And I was like, okay. And it was just like one of those things, but we partner so well together. Same with Janelle, same with Asia, same with Karma. It's just easy. And so it's one of those things, we understand each other enough that we don't have to talk every day, but we do check on each other. We do care about each other, and we're true like business partners. It's not something where anybody's like, oh, well, that one works for me or I work for them or whatever. It is like, hey, how can I support you in this? Oh, well, hey, what do you need to be able to sell it? And so literally it is a true push and pull. These are the things I need. Great. This is the support I need. Great. And it works.
So I got the chance to meet you for the first time at the Conyers Book Fest.
Yes.
And I mean, I kind of knew what a literary agent was like beforehand, but I
Yeah.
didn't really start looking into it until like I kept hearing your name as like the literary agent. And I was like, whoever this person is killing the game because I'm always hearing about them. So when I really started looking into it, I was like, oh, I was like, agent really could be like substituted for advocate. And like that
Absolutely.
person who not only is like championing the work, but is kind of like standing in between the author and the machine.
That's right. Always. And that's the thing, like people who are like, well, what is a literary agent? And I'm like, have you ever seen the movie Jerry Maguire? I'm like, I'm the Jerry Maguire for books. Maybe not the caliber Jerry Maguire was. I don't think of myself in that way. But, perfect example, for those who weren't at Conyers, that book festival was awesome. It was in Georgia. And that there was a Black romance panel. And it was literally me and four of my authors, four or five of my authors. And it was just so cool because it was unexpected that they were going to let all of us be a part of it. But when they reached out to me initially, they reached out about a couple of people on my list. And I was like, cool. I was like, I actually have these other people who are going to be in the area. let me know if you have space or another panel that you need some people for. And they were like, oh, we'll put you all on the same one. And it was, I mean, that was an amazing thing. I don't know that we'll ever be able to do that again, but it was so cool to be able to all talk together and for people to be able to see the dynamic between an author and an agent. And, like, we were there telling the truth about our experiences. Nobody felt away. Nobody had to mask or hide certain things because they were scared of what their agent was going to think of them. We've had those conversations and we have an understanding. And so there's never a moment where they're like, oh, I can't talk about that or I don't feel comfortable. It's just not the vibe.
And y'all are downright hilarious. All of y'all together. That was easily one of the best panels I think I've attended this year. Not
Thank
even
you.
just the questions were great too,
Yeah, they were.
but the dynamic between all of y'all was really fun to watch. And I think if anything, it just kind of like endeared me more to the community. I was
Mhm.
like, oh, this is what I came for. Like I'm staying for the food,
Yeah.
but like this is it.
Yeah.
The companionship that's happening here.
It's very rich. And I think that, like it's like one of those things when it's a feeling, but it's also, it's the perfect example of following intuition, but also in thinking about what it is that are those priorities and seeing where it is that you feel comfortable, what feels like home. And when you find those people and those places and those partners that make your life easier, where it just flows, that's when you know that you're in the right place.
You said something to me there that kind of is a big piece of how I got here.
Really?
So I was like, oh, like, if I could do anything for a living, I would talk to authors about books all day.
Oh,
That's like literally what feeds my brain, brings me joy.
yeah.
And I was like, I kind of always wanted to interview authors. I was like, but I'm a little nervous, scared to be in this space. And you were like, yeah, but you're gonna do it anyway. And then
Period. I
one
love
before,
that.
I literally went to Carmen and was like, can I do a one question interview for my Instagram page? And she was like, yeah. And then we've been having like a 10-minute conversation. And I was like, oh, I could do this. And now
Yes, you can. Oh, I'm so proud of you. Look at you for following through.
doing my best, but also having the best time ever, literally.
You've definitely been interviewing some big folks, like you're doing the things.
Every time someone says yes, it's just wild to me. The nerves kick in, but the feeling is exhilarating every single time.
Well, you're a natural at it, so you shouldn't be nervous.
So, into our first round of Fast Five.
Okay,
Let the games begin. Okay, so
let's do it.
these are a mix of like all the hats that you wear, but
Mm,
mainly like your literary agent hat.
okay.
So, these are quick responses, minimal thinking. So, favorite comfort read you return to over again and again and again.
Oh, that's hard.
I
I
know.
don't know. I don't have one that I would have to think about that. The hard part for me is I have to read so much for my job that like it feels like I read something new and then something falls out of my brain as a result. That's honestly how it feels. And so like literally I'm like, ugh. I will say biggest comfort read of all time is honestly one of my favorite novels that got me into this particular writing genre and that's Milk in My Coffee by Eric Jerome Dickey. And there's so many nuances to that story in particular, but I got to talk to him about that story, and that conversation just brought me so much joy. And, like anytime I think about where everything started, I go back to that story. It's been a while since I've been able to make time to read it again, but I would like to sit with it again.
Maybe on one of your long flights.
Maybe I do have some coming up for sure, but I in my many bins of books that I just packed, I put that one specifically in a special bin to handle with care. So yeah, it's safe.
So, your go-to snack or drink while you are editing or writing.
While I'm editing or writing, I try to stick to things like wine because if I go straight to bourbon, things will get really interesting really fast. And you've joined me at my favorite wine bar, which was a part of the dating prohibition. And so, like literally on Sundays, I go there for brunch, and I often will have a bottle of wine next to me and be on my laptop sitting at the bar, and I'm just kind of posted there most of the day. And people joke around. That's my second office. It's one of my favorite places to be, and so I'm surrounded by people that I know. I'm in a comfort zone, but I have my lovely bottle of wine. Usually I go for red. And we just kind of hang out. It's a vibe.
It is a wonderful place. I cannot wait to go back. I already have
I'm so
plans.
excited. I'm so glad. And anytime I can bring more people there, that brings me joy. So I'm glad that y'all came and joined me.
So, let's see. The most surprising yes
Mm.
you've ever given.
The most surprising yes I've given?
Hmm
As an agent,
Did you ever read anything and was like, interesting, I'm going to say yes to this?
I'm never really surprised by what I say yes to, though. I feel like it all kind of like when people see like, oh, she reps that, and they're usually like, oh, that makes sense. I don't know that there's anything where it's like it doesn't make sense.
Now that you say that, yes.
It all makes sense. Like they all make sense for me. Like, and it's so funny because they're so different, right? Like, I mean, yes, Asia, Janelle, Natasha, they're besties, and so there's similarities with them, but they're still different. And then there's Carmen, and then I have Kiana, and I have Alexia, and I have Morgan. Morgan is vastly different from Natasha, but yet they still fit when it comes to me. And so like it's just a matter of if it feels like it's something that I wouldn't rep, I probably shouldn't have signed it. And so, like, I don't really, I'm not one to kind of beat around the bush. So if I find myself in a situation where the partnership doesn't feel like it's working, I'm pretty quick to say something because I don't want to waste anybody's time. But also, if I can recognize that I'm not going to be someone's best advocate for whatever reason, I feel like it's best to be honest and upfront and get them on their way so that they can find that best fit.
So what is your favorite like part of being a literary agent? What's your favorite part of the process?
My favorite part of the process is calling a client and telling them about an offer we've received. That is my favorite part. Like especially if we've gotten an offer and I've already countered and it's now we have an even better offer. There's nothing better than being able to come back to a client and tell them that I was able to get them what they were hoping for. Obviously I don't get to dictate that piece,
Mhm.
but like to feel like I've delivered and to feel like I was able to help them reach different parts of their dreams and their goals. There's nothing like it.
So switching gears, because there's some things that I'm dying to talk about on this.
Oh boy, okay.
So we're getting a movie and we have a date.
Oh yeah, we do. We
I
do.
can't wait. I'm so excited. I already have the popcorn.
Ah, do you have a special kind of popcorn you like?
Yes. So going
Let's
back
talk
to
about it.
the Conyers Book Fest, Nick
Mm.
Stone's panel, and she talked about this truffle popcorn. And so I got the link from her, and now that truffle popcorn is the go-to popcorn. It's fantastic. It's special occasion popcorn. So I had a bag when I finished that particular semester, one when I graduated.
Yeah.
And then I had one because I was having a particularly hard day, and I was like, you know what, screw this. I'm going to
Hey,
have the truffle popcorn. So I
yeah.
ordered another box because it's 3 bags a box, and I've got my bag already designated for November 30th.
Oh my God, I love that. So I haven't done like a like TikTokish post about like the movie date and everything, but one of the things that I'm going to do is I'm gonna just kind of put a call out there to everyone. Like if y'all are having a watch party to support me, to support Amber, to support the book, whatever, I want people to like tag me, send me snippets of, like them at their watch party so that I can compile it all together later on. I think that's gonna be so fun.
I'm gonna make sure I have
Because
my book with my
yeah.
very special signature in it right near me. So it'll be like Taj is on my bookshelf while I watch.
Yes, yes. I know. Like I'm in the process of moving out of the country, and literally then, of course, is when I get notification of this date. I was not aware before the date got announced when it was going to go up, and so it made me kind of have to adjust some plans because there's no CW network where I'm going, and so
I didn't even think of that.
yeah, I was like, well, if I want to be able to see it, then I guess I need to be here. And so I'm like, I'm going to be hiding at a special location to watch the movie before I go back across the sea.
That's hilarious. I actually that did not cross my mind. And I'm like, you know what? Broadcasting.
Yeah, yeah, it's a thing. Like God knows when it might make it over there. So
Okay. Because Savvy Sheldon is your first
she is.
like traditionally published book or just first published book in general?
The first novel that I actually finished writing.
Oh. So how does it feel to have your baby, for all intents and purposes, like now it's going to be a motion picture?
It's very surreal, honestly. It like people get frustrated with me because I'll be like, "Oh yeah, that's a thing that's happening." Because I forget, but it's only because once it's picked up for an adaptation, it's not my baby anymore because it's somebody else's baby because they've adapted it. And so like there are definitely pieces of it that still feel very true to what was written for the story, but the way that it gets adjusted, based on the director, based on the screenwriter and all those things. Like I didn't have any say in any of that. And so like for me, like I try to kind of separate out what I know my story to be,
Mhm.
just to be ready for whatever is in the movie. Like I was on set for 2 days. And so like I don't even know everything that happens in the movie version. I haven't seen the director's cut. I haven't seen anything. And so like outside of those 2 days,
Are they
I don't
gonna?
know anything.
Are you gonna get to see it before it comes out?
Probably not at this point. But the funny thing was, like, when the announcement with the date went up, like, I posted something real quick because literally, like, one of my clients tagged me in their stories to announce the date. And I was like, oh my God, I didn't even know this. So I hurried up and did a post. And then the director DM'd me and she's like, I was just about to post. Like, she didn't know either. And so, like, it's one of those things, I guess once the network decides, then that's when everybody finds out. But we did not know
Wow,
in
I just
advance.
think like butterfly effect. Like, had you had not had this idea,
Yeah.
like this motion picture would not be happening. And then just thinking about like someone's gonna see this, and this will be the very reason that someone starts writing or starts acting or starts wanting to direct or
Yeah.
like that's just
Like if
about to
someone
happen.
someday DMs me and tells me that, I will cry. Like truly. Like it's a blessing to be able to, take these stories that formulate in my mind and share them with other people and actually have it resonate. When Savvy first came out, I wasn't sure how people were going to receive it because there are some parts of Savvy's story that hit close to home for some folks and it's uncomfortable, and so there have been some folks that did not like it because like she's in a relationship with a guy who is toxic in the beginning, and he's unkind when it comes to her and her body, and her appearance, and like I could pretend like that stuff doesn't exist, but that wasn't my reality. And I wrote Savvy in part to get through some things that I experienced, and so that was a part of my truth. And so to me, I had to kind of let go of whatever worry I had about how others were going to receive it and instead focus on being true to myself and telling the story that I wanted to tell. I think that that's, as a writer, that's what you have to do. Savvy is definitely one of my babies. She's like Savvy, Zora, Maggie, Kendra, all of them are like me in some way. And like I don't have split personalities, but we all have facets,
Yeah.
and like each one kind of represents a different piece, and I love that because we get to lean into these folks and find some common ground. Women are always in a state of thought when it comes to, could be different about my body, what could I improve, but also how can I find the resolve to be happy with exactly where I am, no matter what. And I think those are honest questions that sometimes we have to ask ourselves.
Yeah, and I because I do a lot of work in like building confidence
Yeah.
with people. Sometimes I get asked like, well, how did you do it? And I'm like, honestly, I don't know that I did all that well.
Yeah.
There are plenty of times when I'm the one poking holes in my own confidence.
100%.
But I think that like doing the work and building the like self-assuredness that
Hmm.
I'm more than this one particular thing that I don't like about myself, but
Yeah,
also just because I don't like this thing about myself doesn't mean that it should not be valued and or accepted.
that's right.
And that was definitely something in Savvy's journey that I was like, I liked the fact that not everything gets resolved with a pretty little bow.
Yes,
And yet the value of the being has not changed.
that's right. Yes. And she she did do things to change her mindset, change some of her routine. Who she was, the essence of who she was, never faltered. And, the only thing that I will say that changed was the strength of belief that she had in what she could do. And, I think that that was something that was built up the closer she got to Spencer. And it was meant to kind of represent, like those best partnerships are often those ones where you can see that you can build with someone. And, like that was, kind of that fun play on the fact that he's a contractor also.
I also like that, like, beyond the romantic,
Hmm.
you can see shifts in the friendships as well. Like, the more self-confidence that was obtained, the more security she felt, like, in those relationships. And speaking from
Hmm.
personal experience, I would say that that was really relatable because I have fantastic friends.
Yeah.
Now, y'all work my very last nerve, but I do love each and every one of you. But
Hey,
it's like
friends.
having a good group of people
Yeah.
like help, and also they'll tell you when you're tripping. That's the part.
100%.
Like, man,
Those are
ain't
good
nobody
friends.
paying attention to that one thing. Like, move around.
Yep. The friends that can be honest with you, the friends that will throw down with you, the friends who are there to help you pick up the pieces when you fall, when everything breaks, like those friends are true soulmates. They are the other side of love interests. And, like I find them to be just as necessary as the actual romantic love interest. Like without those relationships, a lot of us aren't completely ourselves, don't necessarily fully open up until we find those people because they help us see things in ourselves that often we can't fully recognize because we're so far in the weeds.
And one thing about your books that have the connected friend group is you can almost see like the growth of the friendship over the time too and
Yeah.
how they've impacted each other because sometimes I'll read a line and I'm like, ooh, man, you can see the influence that this character has had.
Yes, yes. Well, and what I love too is, like going from Savvy's book to Maggie's book, The Good Ones Are Taken, like having the perspective from one friend and then moving to the perspective of the other. How Savvy sees Maggie. Maggie's loud and proud. She's so, exuberant and colorful. And you get into Maggie's head and she's confident in so many ways, except when it comes to her love life. And that is the one place where she is a hot mess. And her friends are looking at her like she's crazy because she's the confident one. And so, like, to have it be where she's kind of this bumbling mess, indecisive, showing total like Libra energy.
She was
And
so
you're just like,
decisive.
right? And so you're just kind of like, girl, like literally people were DMing me like, why did it take Maggie so long? And I was like, but you have to think about it, like someone who overthinks,
Like I
someone who's
appreciated her
indecisive.
journey, but I was like, can
I know, but
I was
that
like
was on
making I was like
purpose.
making the wrong decision, at least in my head. I was like, it's
Yeah.
fine because we can
Yeah.
once the decision has been made.
Exactly. But she couldn't get there. And I wanted people to be frustrated with the struggle because that meant I was doing it right. Because, like there are those times when there's that thing that's right in front of you, and even to you, it feels obvious, right? But at the same time, you have this other thing, and on paper, it's perfect. It should be the right thing. And this risks involved, so this shouldn't be the right thing, even though it feels right. And
Mhm.
so that push and pull of which way should I go? And especially if you give her like Libra energy, then you're just kind of like, oh God, well, we're going to be here for a minute. And we were. She asked everybody under the sun, like, what should I do? And it was on purpose because she thinks she really just wanted to see, like, is there going to be anybody that can speak against what I think I'm supposed to do? She couldn't find anybody ultimately.
I also think that like there are times when we know what we want, but because it's atypical or
Yeah.
not what we prepared for, it's almost like we need to be convinced that we want it.
We need to be convinced that we want it, but we also feel like we need permission to
Yeah.
have this thing that feels too good to be true.
That's, you just put into a struggle I've been having for the past like 2025.
Really?
Yeah. I'm gonna make
Hmm.
note of that. That'll go right into the notebook.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep that to myself for a second because the moment that my friends find out, I'll be getting voice notes,
Ah, I love it. That's hilarious.
lovingly bullying me to the next step. But okay,
With that one that we were talking about?
yeah, yeah. Oh, I have tea to spill after.
Ooh, yes. I'm here for it.
But
Ready.
continuing on with your storytelling lens,
Yes.
because storytelling to me is a full body experience, right? Like as a
Yes.
reader, like yes, like the Kindle or the books, and I'm an either or person.
Mhm.
But you narrated one
Oh,
of
yeah.
your own.
I did. My very first indie project, my novella, Throw Away the Key. That is the follow-up to Zora Books Are Happy Ever After, which is definitely directly above my head. Zora's best friend, Emma, is in Throw Away the Key. And I decided, one of my friends at one of my events for The Good Ones Are Taken, they had me read the opening chapter of The Good Ones Are Taken, and one of my friends was in attendance. And he said, he was like, are you ever going to narrate a book? He's like, because I would listen to a chapter a night, like before I go to bed. He's like, I like your voice. And so I was like, well, I'll just take that as inspiration and do that one as just like a read aloud. And so, I'm not a voice actor. I'm not going to pretend to be. I literally just read the book, but I did it in like a soundproof space. I had a sound editor, and it was a lot of fun. I was nervous, but it was a lot of fun. In my mind, I sound very nasal. And so, like,
I think you have a cheery but soothing tone.
thank you. I heard the soothing thing before, but to me, like, I swear, I just sound like I talk straight through my nose when I hear it, like a recording. And so I'm just like, but it was a lot of fun to do. Like the next indie project that I have, I probably won't because it's one of the first or second attempts I'm going to do at dual point of view. But I could see myself, my novellas at least, maybe continuing to do that in the future, just so that people get to have that touch point.
Your single point of view, like I don't know. To me, it brings like a like nostalgia factor to it. But
Yeah.
I just remember thinking like, because I had won like a raffle or something, and I got a bag of books. And so Savvy was in that bag. And then I
Oh,
went to the
cool.
bookstore and saw Savvy on the shelf, and I was like, this belongs here. I was like, it just like very much like, I don't know, it very much gave me the feeling of like when you get a coffee and you go to the bookstore and you grab a book and it's a romance book and it's good and you relate to the character and you see yourself on the cover and you touch the pages. And I was like, oh, I'll be back for the next one.
Yeah, I mean, that's so important, right? To be able to feel like we see ourselves in the stories. Like I was talking about this at some event and mentioning how, for forever we have been more than willing to read books written by folks that don't look like us, that don't come from our community, to try to put ourselves into those stories, still enjoy them. It is very disappointing when those other communities aren't willing to do the same. And but still, being willing to keep pushing, to keep putting those stories out there because we know that there are others who are looking to see themselves in books. The very first time I read a story where there was Black and Asian character, I was reading this middle grade, and it made me cry because I was just like, I have never seen it. I haven't read it. It just made me feel seen in a way that was not expecting, but to be able to do that so regularly and to be able to have more and more books, like I think that's where publishing falls down sometimes. We want to have some,
Mm.
but it's like they're like, okay, well, we got one, we don't need any more, right? Let me pump the brakes. Let me like stop this. We're good. We've got our quota. And that's how it feels at times. But the hard part is, people need to really understand these stats. Like if Black women
And that seems to
are
be across all genres. I was listening to
across
a
all genres.
YA fantasy author talk about how, like in real time, she saw the doors closing.
Yeah.
It was like there was like four of us.
Yeah.
There was 20 of us. And then it was like we watched the doors close, and now it seems like there's a push. Like it's such a struggle to get more authors on the shelves in
Yeah.
YA fantasy.
In YA fantasy and in adult romance, even, like, I mean, there's a lot of mid-listers just like me, including me, who don't have next contracts. And so, like, will that stop me from writing? No. If I don't get another contract, guess what? It'll come out on the indie side. I have a spreadsheet of over 60 projects. Y'all gonna hear from me, regardless of which way it goes. And so I'm not worried about it. But, like, is it concerning that so many Black authors, brown authors, who've had contracts for the last 3, 4 years, 5 years, all of a sudden that's all dried up, and now the only ones who are being able to be retained are those that have these massive platforms that they built on their own. The publisher didn't even do that.
And
And
that's
so it's, yeah,
they're gonna have to catch up because indie publishing, the way in which the fan bases are so solid.
yes.
Like the Black women will go up for hours.
Sure. Some of the biggest opportunities that I have had have been because of other Black women, not because of anything that anyone else did. And to this day, like, like we will take care of each other if that's all we have. And most of the time, that's all we have. We're going to be fine. We will do the things that we need to do.
I think one of the things, like, I was at a book event, and as readers, we'll talk about books that we like, maybe some we didn't necessarily like resonate with or didn't care for. But I remember hearing this person say, she was like, oh, like I didn't really care for the book, but I'm still going to support the author because like that's what we do. And
That's
I was like, man, just hearing that like, yeah, okay, so this book wasn't for me,
yeah.
but I'm going because like she's one of ours. And in the indie space, even more so, it's like, oh, well, they're over here with us.
100%.
We're gonna show up.
100%. Yep. Like literally it should be studied because nobody will take up for a Black woman like a Black woman will. Period. And it is a beautiful thing to behold. And it is also something that others really should fear. Because, like, when we put our heads together, we really can do whatever it is that we want to do.
And who was I talking to? Probably Dandridge Monroe. She was like, if somebody's gonna spend some money like a drug dealer, it's gonna be a Black woman. I was like, that is facts because we walking
Yes.
around here with these tote bags, these wagons, these bags on wheels, full to the
Hmm.
brim,
100%.
knowing that your luggage has a 50-pound capacity at the
Yeah.
airport.
Yeah. And then are just like, you know what? Let me just buy an extra suitcase. Won't think twice about it. Like it's a
There were
beautiful
literally
thing.
four of us at TJ Maxx, actually. I was like,
See?
here for another suitcase.
Yeah, and that's what we do. Like, but it's just one of those things, like we know how hard this industry can be. We know how tough it is, like when people don't show up, but we also know like there are very select few who can we can rely on. And at the very top of that select few is Black women, period.
I also like on the engagement side,
Yeah.
because I've enjoyed getting to meet, the authors behind the names of the book. It's
Yeah.
like still kind of surreal to me because y'all are these like entities in my head. But y'all are quite literally some of the warmest human beings. The
Yeah.
hugs, the hey, how are you? The recognition, just
Yeah.
like the general joy to be around.
I mean, like I'm the first person to say I'm just a girl. Like, like I ain't nothing special. I ain't nothing different. At the end of the day, like I just go hard for mine. I do not play about my friends. I do not play about my clients, but that's just our way. I think that like it takes too much energy to be standoffish and to be anything outside of exactly who and what I am. And, like Auntie Maxine said, we were claiming our time. Ain't nobody got time to waste on
I got
masking.
time. Yes.
Like who has time for that? I don't have time for it. I don't want to waste energy. I want all of my energy to go into the things that I love. And, so that means that like this other sense, nonsense, the noise, we let all that go.
Yeah. Definitely here to focus on the community and the positivity because there's so much.
Yeah. That's it.
Okay. Hopping in to our next round of Fast Five. Now,
Okay.
these are geared towards you as an author.
Okay.
So I'm asking you which ones you like to write.
Mm.
Spicy slow burn or the instant spark?
I mean, instant spark.
I can kind of
It,
see.
it's funny because I feel like people probably think I write like more of a slow burn, but at the same time, like if I'm reading, I'm like, when are they gonna bone? Like,
Okay, so I will say that I think the spark is up front,
yes,
but maybe not shaking the sheets until a little bit later.
that's true. It depends. Like, I have something brewing where it's faster, but yeah.
How fast are we talking? Are we talking like first 5 pages?
So opening scene is a wedding and they share a bridesmaid.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Hand it over. Immediately want to read.
It's gonna
Okay,
be fun.
so writing at midnight or writing at sunrise?
Neither. So
Oh,
here's
after like midday?
like, can we do like 9 or 10? Like the sunrise thing, I applaud the people that can get up at 5 and 6 a.m. Like I can't even do that to work out. I ain't doing that to work my brain. And like the midnight thing, like I'm falling asleep at like 10:30, 11. So we're like if I'm doing anything that involves like writing at midnight or writing at 6 a.m., it's because I'm pulling all-nighters and that means that I'm on deadline and I probably have like 3 days left. It definitely happened. I'm not proud of it, but that's the truth. And but normally like if I'm like I want to like get up on a Saturday morning, have a leisurely coffee, and then maybe at like 9:30 like start. That would be nice.
You
It's rare
definitely,
that I get to do that, but yes.
I mean, you give rich auntie vibes.
That's the
Like
goal in life for me,
luxury Sunday
honestly.
mornings,
Yeah,
like when you told me you were moving to Barcelona, I was like,
yeah,
that fits.
it does.
Have you
It's
had them? I
very
was like,
me.
they just the way that they move over there, I was like, oh yeah, this is the vibe.
It's the quality of life thing. And it's the fact that, over there, when people say they're on vacation or they're taking a break, they break. And that is something that I need to be immersed in that to get it because here I can't do it. I need to be somewhere where that's the culture and then I will actually follow suit. But here, like we're conditioned to be
Yes.
such machines here.
Yep.
And that is it's to our detriment, honestly. We lose out on so many things. And the whole reason I'm moving to Europe is because I need to get out of the hamster wheel and I need to experience life as it's happening and not just be planning for a life that's supposed to start in 20 years. I can't do that anymore. I can't do the whole like someday I'm going to do these things. No, we're going to do this today because, the world is crazy right now. Tomorrow is not promised. And so you need to make the most of what you have while you have it.
It is a little bananas outside, that's for sure.
It's crazy. It's crazy pants. And for us to be in the DMV right now, child, I'm ready to go.
We'll talk about it again later. Okay. Meet cute in a coffee shop or like rivals forced to share a ride.
I would say the coffee shop. I like so, and it's so funny. I just had an event in Fairfax on Saturday, and we were talking about like enemies to lovers, rivals to lovers. I can tolerate rivals a little more than enemies because a lot of times the enemies to lovers to me starts off in a toxic way that I don't really like. But I love when you just randomly make eye contact with someone and you just feel that chemistry spark. There's that organic, just, oh my God, there's something chemical about this person that is just drawing me in. And I feel like the coffee shop or the grocery store or just randomly walking down the street, that is something that is just special.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is.
it is.
Okay, so encouraging someone with sugary sweet words
Mm.
or keeping it all the way real.
Oh, baby, I'm a Capricorn. I'm gonna keep it real. I might hurt your feelings, but I'm gonna keep it real. 100%. All day, every day. And it's one of those things like the sugary words, it ends up being counterproductive because if you actually want to have a positive result or to actually help someone, they need the real. If you bury it under sugary words, they miss the whole point, and now you have to start all over again.
I will say that I find your dialogue between characters to be fairly direct.
Yeah.
There are some books that you read, not to say that like they don't eventually get to the point, they do. But it's definitely a little bit more like cursive in language, you know?
Yeah. 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 Mine probably reads as all caps sometimes. But,
There are
it's
times, now that like I've met you, I'm like, there's sometimes I read something and I'm like, oh, I could hear her saying this.
people say that to me all the time, and I'm like,
Yeah,
okay, I don't know what that means, but okay, cool. Yeah. I mean, I love that though, because I feel like as you get to know a writer and their work, like it just brings you closer to them when you can kind of picture like what they were thinking or how they would say it, or you've had an interaction with someone and you're like, oh yeah, that's so them. This is so coded. And it's like you don't realize how coded it is. I don't realize how coded it is until people tell me what they recognize. And I'm like, oh, had no idea, but cool. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yep. Okay, so I'm actually gonna hop into the next game.
Okay.
So plot twist roulette.
Okay.
So the first question I usually ask is, what is the craziest plot twist that you almost added to a book?
So most of the time I get to keep pretty much everything that I incorporated.
Mhm.
Savvy was the exception. There was one full scene that got cut, and then there was half of an intimate scene that got cut. Yeah, I know. I need to like release the bonus footage, but like,
Yes, please.
uh, yeah, my editor was like, it just feels overly gratuitous. And I was like, but it's sex. Isn't it supposed to be gratuitous? Like, I don't
That
understand.
is the point.
Yeah. And it was just like, Savvy reciprocating because Spencer took care of her first. And friends who got to read like the early version enjoyed that piece. And one told me she learned something. And then I had to cut it, and I was like, ah, what a bummer. But in Savvy, there was a scene where she went to a department store and she needed to buy a new outfit for work. And being plus size at department stores is a problem most of the time. We have to go to some weird section upstairs that's hidden behind everything else. And it's this tiny section with these awful, frumpy
Silhouette
clothes.
patterns that
Yeah.
are odd.
Exactly. They don't fit well. They're not flattering. It's got ruffles for no reason. So she's going there, and as she asks, someone that's working the floor for the location, because they just done a renovation at this store,
Mhm.
um, the girl tells her where it is, and she goes to take the stairs, and the girl's like, "Don't you think you should take the elevator? Can you even make it?" And, like, does it feel cruel? Yes. Are people cruel in real
Yeah.
life? Absolutely. Has that happened to me before?
Oh no.
Yeah. And so like they made me cut the scene completely, but there was something to that scene, and she actually ended up coming out on top at the end of that scene. And I was really proud of her for standing up for herself in that moment. But it rubbed some people the wrong way, so they took it out. And so like it was a part of what I was trying to drive home was it's not just in your relationship that you might experience these things. Obviously, it happens out in the world too. Even as adult people, there's still bullies out there. And, like how you can handle those things, how we can face people and not let them shame us or make us feel small for not being what they want us to be. I think that was the point that I was trying to get to that they made me cut. So,
I still like Shabby all the same. I will say, and you can ask any author that I've interviewed. I'm never gonna leave an interview without having an ask of my own. I would love some deleted scenes. If you ever want to drop those on Patreon, newsletter, Substack, wherever.
Yeah, I
But the
should do
main
that.
thing
I should. Like I keep saying, I have 3 paid subscribers on Substack. And I'm needing to drop some footage, something bonus for them. So maybe that's what I'll do. But yeah, like because I haven't started a Patreon. I'm like, it's so many things, y'all. Like there's
is
so many things that people have to do. Like I don't have the energy. But I'm like, if I'm already on Substack and I've committed to posting at least 1 to 2 newsletters a month, like I could do that. We'll work on it.
you wear a
Along with the
thousand,
posting
I was
and
gonna say you wear 1,001 hats. We'll pick one thing to work on at a time.
thank you. That's what we need to do, one at a time.
Okay, so and this is a purely Aaliyah was curious one night question.
Okay.
So you're given the chance to co-write with one of your clients.
Ooh.
The first name that like, and what's the genre?
Oh
Like I
gosh.
know it'll be romance, so what's the subgenre?
Yeah. See, oh gosh, that's such a good question. Because depending the genre like makes me choose different people.
Hmm.
So like if I'm doing paranormal, I would probably say Carmen Lee.
Hmm.
If I want to do something that's romantic suspense, I would say Asia Monique. If I want to lean into the family drama, it's between Natasha and Janelle, and I don't know that I could choose. I would have to just write with both of them, and I think that they could be down for that.
If the three of y'all dropped a book together, the way in which I would have to just immediately log in and request a day off. I'm booking a spa treatment because, and I've told the wonderful Miss JL Seegers that like there are authors that drop and I read their books immediately.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, she's one of those authors, but initially I was like, I need to pencil you in, friend, because I can't take this. Just the angst is killing me.
The angst, and she does angst better than anyone that I know. Like between her and Natasha, when it comes to the family dynamics and all, like, and I love family dynamics. I love intergenerational stories. Like having those two, that would be amazing. If I was just sticking in the rom-com lane, then I would want to partner with Morgan because she's incredibly funny at what she does. Like I don't know how she comes up with the shenanigans that she comes up with, but
They are
she does.
definitely shenanigans, that is for sure.
Truly, truly. Like, I mean, to
I
have,
would say that between her and Carmen, the
yes,
banter is incredibly like
banter.
witty.
Mm-hmm. Like, and it's so fun because it's like each one of them has something different, but also something so special. And, like it's like their readers, it's catnip and you just eat it up because it's so good. Like with Danielle, like, I mean, that chick is booked and busy for
Ever.
years to come
Mhm.
at this point, which I'm so proud of her. And Natasha like is doing the things, and Asia is doing the things, and Carmen is doing the things, and like her title for her next book just got approved. Like, so there's going to be some information coming out soon for that. Like gosh, it's like there's so many pieces, and all of it is so rich. I'm so excited to see what's to come for each of them, and then there's more clients that I represent beyond them. But even then, like it's just like all of them are so, so phenomenal at what they do. But I'm a romance girly at heart for sure.
So we've talked about your balancing of all the hats,
Yeah.
your ability,
Balancing or not
well, in
not
theory,
successful balancing, but balancing nonetheless.
the attempt,
Yes.
your ability to spot greatness, your storytelling lens, and the last thing I really want to touch at is like community impact. Community
Yeah.
is the thread between all of them, but you've built a reputation for keeping it real, uplifting authors, the encouragement, the tough love,
Yeah.
like. You're quite literally a part of shaping the culture. And I know that
That I would go that far. Like I
you
just can't.
are. So here's the thing, right? Like, because everyone here occupying space matters and has an impact on those around you,
Yes.
right? So, like, I mean, I can't speak for everybody, but looking at the impact that you've had on my story, and it was a moment that you probably didn't even think of again after leaving,
Yeah.
like, Conyers, But, like, in the past year, my life has drastically shifted in a way that like I only ever dreamed about. Not even quite like imagined in a way that was operational, but like these were just like random thoughts in my head that like, oh, this would be really cool to do and it
Yeah.
would bring me joy. Right. So when we look at the community, because not only like you're tied to heavy hitters, but like
Yeah.
you're on the shelves. People can go to a bookstore and buy a Taj McCoy book.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Uh-huh.
They go
Yeah.
home and read said book, and maybe they're inspired to go back and buy another book with a Black person on the cover.
Yeah.
Or maybe they're looking to becoming a literary agent. Or maybe they just
I'd
decide
love
to
to
go
see
to an
that.
event because you're going to be there,
Mm,
right? Like the community itself is this like living, breathing thing that we all participate in,
right. That's true.
and you're just here leaving your mark.
I would like to think that it leaves an impact. I don't really like in my mind, I'm just like, whatever I can impart on others, whatever way I can love on folks, whatever way I can encourage people, I try to do my best. I'm not going to be able to show up 100% all the time, but the moments that I can, like I really do make that effort to do it and to be present and to help people feel seen. I think we as a community often feel unseen, unheard, unappreciated. And, like anything that I can do, that I have the bandwidth to do, to try to help, make sure that I'm giving back to this community that has given so much to me, like I'm gonna do it.
And you do. I just don't want that to be the question, you know? And no
Right.
one's expecting you to show up at 100% all the time. I think that's completely unrealistic. Honestly,
Yeah.
sometimes I think people showing up past 80% most of the time is unrealistic.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know about y'all, but my social battery is really, really tiny.
Okay. And it's getting smaller, honestly.
Yeah. Yep.
You
Every
know,
day.
the way that I am such a homebody now, and like I make concerted efforts to go outside, but even in going outside, like my going outside now is very much within the confines of where I'm comfortable. The wine bar is a part of my home. So like to me, I'm still home when I'm there. Like if I'm going out with friends, I'm going out with friends, but I'm going to their house. Still
Yeah.
closed universe.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that we don't have to be outside. Like I don't like crowds. I don't like to deal with all of the nonsense. And so whatever way I can try to insulate, I will. And so I just find my little happy cocoon and I try to stay there as much as possible.
I realized that like I have little square miles, like I have the square mile around where I live, and I have, like my
Yes.
office square mile. And just the other day, I had a student ask me like where this particular building was, and I was like, I've actually never adventured past that point, so I don't have no idea where this is.
Oh, I love it.
Or like
That's so real though. At least you were honest about it.
even going to the wine bar, like it is fairly close to
Yeah.
where I'm located. And I was like, I really do have to get out more because it was not all that far.
Not super far, and like it's a black owned business. I know and love the owners. I'm their son's godmother. Like they're a part of my family. And any way I can support them, any way I can bring people to know and understand that place a little bit better, having that be a part of the inspiration, within the dating prohibition, like that was a lot of fun, to showcase them in that way and to show them love in that way.
Let's take a second and talk about Arrow Wine Bar. So,
Yeah.
after reading the book and getting to go to the wine bar, it provided an extra layer of like contextual understanding.
Yes.
Because while it's not what's described in the book, but the vibe is very much the same.
Hmm.
And I was like, oh, okay, I can see it a little bit better now, or maybe I should say I can feel it a little bit better now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and you are a chef, closet chef, because
Former private chef.
former private chef.
Hmm.
Because believe me, y'all, I have tried. I'm like, when is Taj doing the next supper club? Is she gonna make a snack? Can I
Oh,
put it on a
friend,
plate?
I just did kind of a supper club meal on Saturday. It
See,
was
and
out in Virginia though. I'm sorry.
I just knew. But the books always have like, you're gonna want a snack.
You must have snacks. You will be very
If
hungry.
you can't cook, you just DoorDash whatever was listed in the book.
Hmm.
Not everybody is blessed with those particular talents. But yeah.
It's so fun. It's so fun. Like my relationship with food and putting food into the stories, it's very much my love language. And so literally, I was talking to a friend, and I like to cook at their house because they have a nice big house and they have people around. I live alone, so when I cook, like I end up having food for weeks because I don't know how to cook small.
Hmm.
And so like cooking for them, they're a family of five, and then they have a lot of our friends live near them, so it's easy to just have a bunch of people come. And so, the man of the house was like, he's like, I really want a good steak. And I was like, well, what kind of steak? And he was like, can you do something that's kind of hibachi style, but not? And I was like, yeah, let's do that. And so we did like an Asian style ribeye, but I was like, I'm extra. So I want to do steak two ways. So we're going to do an American steak with roasted garlic compound butter, and then we're gonna do the Asian style steak as well. And so then we had to do sides that match both kinds. So I did like a Filipino garlic fried rice, and we did like a stir fried zucchini and yellow squash. And then on the other side, I did scalloped potatoes, roasted asparagus, caramelized onions.
And all
For
I'm asking for is a to-go container. It don't even have to be like real plastic. I pull up with a styrofoam container with the lid that don't close all the way.
at least we got to do the glass, Tupperwares. We got to be good for the environment.
Well, see, here's the thing. If I leave with a glass Tupperware container, I'm bringing it back for a refill because it's
Fair.
reusable.
It is reusable.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if I give you a glass container, I just want you to keep it. That's how you know I love you because if I give you a glass container, because when I give containers, I don't expect them back. Like if I give you a glass container, I truly love you
Oh
because
yeah. No, if you give me a glass container, I give it about 7 days and I'm like, ding dong. All right. What's
fair.
next?
Yes, yes.
My grandmother, so my mom's mom makes these like candied nuts and
Hmm.
it's her mom's recipe. And so every year at Christmas is like a conveyor belt. Like we're packaging these nuts up and we would do like mason jars and like Christmas boxes and
How
just all the
cute.
bows and learning how to tie the different bows and write the cards out. And like buying nuts in bulk is expensive now.
Yeah.
Would bring back their containers. Like we every year we would downsize the containers to be smaller and smaller. People were bringing back their old containers of like mason jars with like handles on them, like the mugs.
Oh,
I was
wow.
like,
Yes.
man, every year, and it's like it'll
Awesome.
start. She usually only makes them like Christmas time, but people now will start requesting at like the end of October.
I'm sure. It's just that season, like I mean, my favorite, like I buy this sugar-free syrup for my coffee because I'm trying to like not have as much sugar as I might want to. But the flavor that I buy is butter pecan, and so I make like these butter pecan lattes. And it's so fall, but I drink them year round because I don't care. Like it's just so good. But yeah, like those
You
candied nuts and all those
like
things
a
is
New Englander. Not only
yeah,
do New Englanders drink something like that all year round, but they drink iced coffee all year round.
I do too.
I'm a hot coffee girly. I just please.
I will take coffee in any of its forms. It could be an avocado, it could be espresso, it could be I love
Like I
Ethiopian or
said, rich
Turkish
auntie
coffee.
energy
Yeah,
because
I mean, yeah. Listen, I receive that. That is the goal, honestly.
I'm like I'm inching my way up to that.
Yes, yes. I mean, it's a process. I don't feel like I'm quite 100% there, but we're working on it.
Okay, so my last question is always, what are your favorite ways for readers to support you?
Hmm. I think honestly, my favorite ways, and I think right now the most important ways, are word of mouth. Getting, reviews out there, getting, letting other people know like how books make you feel. Like as much as I appreciate, people tagging me, it's so much more that you're letting other people know. Because I have had my publisher come to me and be like, like we know people are enjoying it because we're seeing posts on social media, but we're not seeing reviews on Amazon or on Goodreads. And like that matters, if they're going to buy my next thing.
Mhm.
And so it helps y'all to put those reviews out there to let people know whatever, and be honest with your reviews. Like I'm not looking for people to gas me up, like I don't expect to have 5 stars from everybody. I know that's not going to be the case, and that's okay. Like however you received it, be honest. That's all right. Just make sure that you post because every little bit helps. And, like your post might be the one that someone else sees and then they decide to read it to get a feel for it themselves. And, that word of mouth, that reference, that referral, that's everything. Especially within our community, like those matter so much. Like that's how I like put my TBR together. I look and see, well, what are the girlies reading? And what are they recommending? What did they say made their heart stop? What did they say made them laugh? Who wrote something where they just wanted to strangle some of the characters because they wouldn't get in line. Like, I love that. That's why I do it. And I know I frustrate y'all, but I do it on purpose for a reason. Like, I love having those characters who make mistakes and don't immediately do, if they go too fast in the right direction, you don't have a story. It's too fast. And so I want to have those obstacles and that conflict for that reason. But to me, the word of mouth is everything. Community, getting a sense of who you are and what you're about and deciding to rally behind you, that's everything. So any way that support comes through, I will take it.
Well, thank you for joining me. It was so great having you here. I always love
Thank
talking to
you.
you.
Likewise, you're a blast. Listen, every time I see you, I'm just so happy. And truly, y'all, like I need you to know, like Leah was at 3, 4 of my events, like, and then I was like, hey, come join me at the wine bar. Let's have a bottle of wine. Like, let's hang out for a minute because, like you are just such a huge support and encourager. But I'm also, knowing now that I didn't know that I had a part in you doing this, but I'm so proud of you and you're so good at it. So I really hope that you keep this going and just trust yourself and follow your heart because clearly it's leading you in the right direction.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.